More cost-cutting measures in Spain. The parliament has passed $52 billion worth of spending cuts to tackle the country's growing debt. Authorities say the severe cuts to the 2013 budget are needed to repair the public finances of the Eurozone's fourth largest economy. The measures came as angry Spanish demonstrators urged fresh street protests. Justice workers in the capital, Madrid, walked out of their jobs to protest a government plan that will charge citizens to bring civil cases to court. Also in Madrid, another rally was held to protest against the illegal detention and torture of peaceful anti-austerity protesters in a September 25th demonstration. Well, to discuss that a bit further, we're now joined by Mr. Bill Jones, who is with the Executive Intelligence Review, who's joining us now via Skype from Washington. Mr. Jones, thanks a lot for joining us now. How do you assess this budget that Spain has passed with $52 billion worth of spending cuts?
It's going to be a disaster for the Spanish workers, for the Spanish population, and for the Spanish economy. Spain is under the gun, as many other countries. Virtual economic dictatorship of the European Union, which is demanding a pound of flesh. Now, it's not going to end with the present cuts, because the amount of debt that has been accumulated, largely through the gambling activities of the last decades, are going to require a lot more payment from people. And so that the austerity is not going to end. People will be out on the streets because it's a question of their very survival. There are families which no longer can support themselves, and they're going to be very desperate. They're going to be out on the street. They're going to be very angry. It's going to be a very turbulent period we're going into right now.
Mr. Jones, so far we've seen a certain amount of political stability in Spain as far as the government goes. It's felt that it can get by pretty much with passing pretty much any austerity measures that it wants to. Will that, pardon me, will that continue, especially with with you describing the civil unrest that is to come?
I don't think there's any stability down the road. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. And anybody who thinks there is doesn't realize what the present international financial situation is. The system is fundamentally bankrupt, but the international bankers are not content with accepting that conclusion, and therefore they're trying to squeeze out of the subject populations whatever they can to pay the bankers' debts. It's kind of a strange banker's arithmetic. But when you start destroying the productive forces of a nation's economy by throwing people on the scrap heap, taking away their jobs, cutting their wages, cutting Social Security, you're on a downhill path. At a certain point, people are already reacting, and they're reacting in a big way. And if it continues, as I think it will,
all right, I do apologize for cutting off Mr. Jones, but we'll have to leave it there for now. But we do, of course, appreciate your insight. That was Mr. Bill Jones with the Executive Intelligence Review, speaking to us live from Washington.